Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Once again, time for the WADcast, episode number 87. I am one of your hosts, Josh, and joined with me, as always, is the guy that'll never let you down and always pay attention to the stuff that you put together.
I paid attention to the opening. I can multitask and pay attention. Stop being a big old baby about it.
You should get a microphone.
Oh, here, 1 second. Oh, there we go.
Oh.
There we go. Okay, that better?
A little bit.
Okay. No, I was paying attention to it. You don't need to be a big old baby about it. I got it. It was very nice. It was well done. It was very well done.
In case you didn't catch last night's movie potluck, I showed Brandon the introduction, and I'm not saying he wasn't paying attention, but he admits he was multitasking.
Yep.
6 hours it took me to put that thing together for like 90 seconds of video. 6 hours. And he's like, you know what? I can do other things too.
Oh my God. And I can, and I did.
Technically, yes. But you will be watching it with no multitasking at some point in the future.
Oh yeah. Yeah, watch all of them.
Because Brandon, he's a big old fan of the movie potluck. Glad to have him on board.
Yeah.
So here we are. It's the WADcast.
Yep. So how was your week, buddy?
It's that time of year where things start winding down, and I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but I'm very glad that spring has yet to find its way to Florida.
Oh yeah, no, it's still freezing out here in California. It's actually pretty damn chilly right now.
We had people wearing light coats. I mean, no, you don't need like a parka or anything, but you never do here. But wearing a light coat in April it's odd.
Yeah.
I don't wear jackets or coats pretty much ever, so it's all odd to me.
I know. I think when I moved back to Florida in 2009, I don't think I had any winter clothes for the first 2 years. And then my friend Kim moved down there from Delaware shortly after I moved there. And she and I were just like walking down to the beach, the Jacksonville Beach Pier and everything else, having a good old time in our tank tops, shorts, and flip-flops. And everyone else is like bundled up in like winter jackets and shit. Like it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Out here though, it's actually been pretty chilly. And as of right now, I still work nights, so it's even colder. I need to talk to you about that actually after the show. You'll be happy to hear what's going on. But speaking of Florida, that's a really good segue into tonight's conversation, I think.
I think so too.
Long story short, you guys are all kinds of just like ass backwards right now, aren't you? Like you guys are just like everywhere. Like, I mean, on the spectrum, you guys just, God, I don't even know where to begin. Like the, don't say, God, what's the, I forget the technical term for the bill, but it's just called the Don't Say Gay bill that Governor Ron Desantis signed off on, has caused a huge stir because you have a, very divisive bill. Now, that being the case, you and I have had this conversation yesterday. You know my standpoint on it, and I'll be reciting my standpoints on the show today.
Mm-hmm.
But Disney, a massive political contributor, is like, you know what? We're done.
Yeah.
Like, You guys, you blew it. No more donations on either party. We don't care. We're done.
All we said was, don't be a dick. And here we are.
And so it's like, I mean, that brings up a lot of questions as to with them dropping. And I'm sorry, like, it didn't just stop there. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Disney said we're not going to make any more donations. And in retaliation, DeSantis cut their tax incentives.
They had a special tax.
The tax bracket,
status.
right? Status. That's it. Status.
They were basically an independent government in the state of Florida.
Yep.
And what that essentially meant was, everything that was associated with the things that they own, the things that they paid for. Whether it's the roads around the parks or, their own fire department, that was called all coming out of Disney coffers.
Yeah.
And without that status, I guess, to protect them, I'm be the first to admit I'm no expert. So I'm just kind of gleaning what I can from what I read.
Yeah.
Without that, the bill for it's going to wind up going to the taxpayer of the two counties. So, yay?
Yeah, and there was some things that I was reading up on this thing about, and it's not so cut and dry. Josh, give me 1 second. Let me go get my coffee because I work tonight. 1 second.
Well, that's new coffee as Brandon's beverage of choice. Usually it's something else in the
Sorry.
cup.
All right, sorry. I don't have Danielle here to physically hand me my coffee and be like, thank you, my new assistant. But
terrible.
I am in we are in a new place right now. We're still in the process of moving, but now I can stretch out and enjoy my coffee from my WADcast mug.
And that's a smart looking design there, buddy.
I know, right? It really is. I'm happy that we hired some schmuck to design it. But no. So like the whole thing with the taxes being picked up is a large part of it is, if I remember right, Disney is the one that has this like that whole debt is Disney's alone, it's not the taxpayers, but there are other factors where that money is supposedly going into Orange County and Osceola's public governments to enhance things. And we all know how that shit works out. We all know what happens when money goes into the public departments. Nothing ever gets done anyway. I mean, you pay taxes out, like, you pay taxes to cover like road repairs and everything else. How about a roads in Jacksonville?
Yeah, they've been under a state of repair for decades now.
Yeah, just constant.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we'll get around to it.
I swear, I've seen cones set up in one place for like 5 years.
But I mean, there are things that are going to have to be footed to the taxpayers, which you are right. Yeah. And that being the case, people are going to be footing the bill to the tune of, I believe, like almost like $1 billion in taxes that are going to have to go somewhere, have to be paid by somebody. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, it's close to it. It's not exactly $1 billion, but it's very close to it because of all the things that Disney was footing the bill for that they're no longer going to foot the bill for.
Oh yeah, they paid for a lot of stuff.
So, and out here in California,
like single largest employer.
Oh yeah, and out here in California, you have Disneyland in Anaheim. Anaheim is largely, you might as well just say that Disney owns it. Just because, I mean, like, I think at one point Disney was even trying to get like a monorail out here in Anaheim, and people in Anaheim were like, no, we don't want that. Like, and it wasn't just for Disney, it was for the public transportation. Mm-hmm. It was actually like something to try to go into the city. They're like, no, don't want to have it. But Disney has, like, they take care of the taxes for, like, they pay a lot of taxes for things like the fire departments, the police, the roads, and everything else. Like, it's largely a Disney town. Orlando is no different. Granted, you have Universal Studios in Orlando. You have, I believe, Busch Gardens in Orlando? Tampa. That's it, Tampa. I don't do theme parks. And even as a Florida native, I've never been to any theme park ever in Florida. Not
First,
once.
blasphemy. And second, the other major attraction in Orlando is probably SeaWorld.
Oh, yeah.
With not in Orlando, but close by, Legoland.
Yep. I forgot that there's a Legoland out there now.
Yeah, we went a couple of years ago.
And you did take me.
Well, you don't tell me when you come to Florida.
Hey, Brent, you want to go Legoland? Sure, Josh. I'd love to. No, joking. Taking the kids.
If it makes you feel any better, I understand how Kevin Smith felt when he tried to get on that plane that one time. Because I tried to get on a roller coaster, and they're like, "You're too fat to fly."
God, that's horrible.
And that made me change my entire life tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
So anyway, back to the subject at hand. We have this squabble going on between Ron DeSantis and Disney. And honestly, you would think, that's easy to take aside, right?
Yeah.
After all, who doesn't love Mickey Mouse?
I could give a shit about Mickey, to be honest with you.
It's just a symbol, okay? But Disney being, if I'm not mistaken, the single largest movie studio in the world, and hence why it kind of falls under our jurisdiction.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the only time, unless it's movie related, that we actually talk about politics on the show. Personally, I don't give a shit. I vote for Homer Simpson all the damn time. So, but go ahead, Josh. I'm sorry. Just had to give them like a disclaimer that we don't discuss politics on the show because it really doesn't have any place most times in what we talk about.
Right. Which is why it's weird that this thing fell into our laps.
Oh no, I'm going to have a field day with this, and I'm probably going to piss a few people off because I'm such a centrist on everything. I tend to piss people off a lot. To conservatives, I'm a liberal. To liberals, I'm a conservative, which means I'm right where I want to be. So, but
as I was saying,
go ahead.
Anyway, yeah, you have the government, right? Who the hell likes the government? But then you also have on the other side, big faceless corporate entity that is hell bent on world domination. It would basically be if Star Wars was the Empire versus the other side of the Empire.
Yeah.
Two mega powerful entities going kind of head to head. And quite frankly, there's really no one to cheer for because, quite honestly, let's break down just a tad bit. Disney did not come out and say, "Oh, this bill is bad," immediately. I'm not saying, sometimes companies have to cross their T's and dot their I's, and make sure everything's in order. No, the employees at their theme park had to threaten to walk out unless their company, like I said, the largest employer in Florida, unless their company would stand up for them and say something. And only at that point did Disney go, "Yeah, I guess we care."
Yeah.
So it's not even like they were adamantly going after, anybody, or adamantly trying to take down anybody. It was just a matter of, oh, that thing, that bill that everyone's talking about, that passed. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
And then the employees are over here and they're like, huh, you're really pissed off. Hey, we don't like that. And now next thing you know, the governor is like, oh, you bastards, I'm going to take you down. He basically became Vince McMahon Jr.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the gist of, the whole good guy, bad guy scenario, when it's just, I mean, one thing, no matter what, right? Everyone can agree that this revocation of the special tax status,
Yeah.
at the very least, that is in some way retribution for them taking a stand.
And yeah, there's a lot of misinformation as well, as far as like their tax status. A little history for those of you that are not familiar with where this whole thing came from with Disney and it paying its own tax status and everything else. In 1967, Florida legislature passed this. They created like a special taxing district. Pretty much it's known as Reedy Creek Improvement District. And pretty much what this does is it allows landowners, think like Disney, for example, primarily Disney. These landowners would fund their own municipal services such as power, water, roads, emergency services, fire protection, stuff like that. So since 1967, Disney World has pretty much been, of course, inflated for adjustment. Adjusted for inflation. Sorry, I'm fried right now. But I'll put it this way. In the recent years, Florida has pretty much collected almost $105 million a year. Let me check that. I think of $105 million a year in general revenue. But it's also collected more than $280 million dollars in tax and property tax that Disney pays. It's like the largest taxpayer in Florida. So you have this amount of money that it's been paying in property tax. So if Disney walks away, Reedy Creek pretty much becomes nothing. This whole it's like this district becomes nothing. It may still be around, but it just doesn't really do much. But I know lawmakers are seeking to pretty much get rid of Reedy Creek. And if this happens, okay, the responsibility for municipal services, sorry, Josh, I'm tongue-tied here, it falls upon neighboring counties of Orange and Osceola County. Basically, if you dissolve Reedy Creek, that $105 million of revenue, it goes away. It doesn't get transferred. But Florida State, pretty much like, oh God, what was this guy's name? Let me pull this up here. I have this written down somewhere. Here we go. Randy Fine, who helped Representative Randy Fine, who helped spearhead the bill to sunset Reedy Creek, told, the local taxpayers would actually benefit from Disney being stripped of its special tax status, saying the tax revenue generated by Disney would instead go to local government and then would cover the services. Pretty much, he says the taxes will continue to be paid. They would just be paid to Orange and Osceola County instead of its special improvement district. The taxpayers would end up saving money because you've got to duplicate services and that are being provided by the special district that are already being done by those municipalities. And that's all well and good. But then there is also another issue where if the counties are left to, if they're left holding the bag, pretty much the state's going to have to come to their aid. So now the state's going to have to pull taxes somewhere else to be able to pay for this kind of stuff. So it's not just a tax issue for Osceola and Orange County, it really does. It's going to affect every taxpayer in Florida, every single one of them.
Wait, I'm one of those.
Yes, you are. Don't worry. You can join us in maybe eventually Florida will have the economy that California does. Not likely. But no. But yeah, so it's just like, and then you have, and this is all, of course, up to Bob Chapek, the CEO for Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where this started. This Don't Say Gay bill and everything else. It has, as we said earlier, it started a whole controversy. The whole thing is very controversial. And there's a lot of misunderstandings about this bill. I read the whole thing. We have Lisa Gonzalez. We have a new listener. Good evening, Lisa. How are you? It's good to have you on the show. Welcome to the WADcast, where we discuss writers, actors, directors, everything in between, and once in a while,
governors.
Yeah, bullshit government situations. No, hi, Mom. But speaking of which, if you want a really cool mug, go to Lisa Gonzalez. She made these. My mommy made it for me.
No, aren't you so sweet?
I got an autograph too. I don't know if you can see that. Little autograph right there at the bottom.
Yeah,
that's when she made it. There we go. 11/19/2021. But yeah, so it's like this whole Don't Say Gay bill and everything else. There is a lot of miscommunication about this because people are like, I don't know why. I have no idea why, but people are terrified that kids are being taught about. Okay, give me 1 second. I'll read that. I'm sorry, Ryan, not ignoring you, buddy. A lot of people are very, very, very confused by this whole thing. It's like they're under the impression that teachers are actively teaching kids about gay marriage, gay relationships, the LGBTQ community, like trans, the trans community, sexual identification, orientation. People think that these kids are learning this in early stages, like kindergarten, first, second, third grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I have multiple teacher friends of mine that I've had to ask about this. Like, hey, is this like a curriculum? They're like, no. And these are teachers in Florida. It's like, this is not our business to be teaching these kids this, especially at this early age. It's not our business. This is a conversation for mom and dad. It's like, we still have sex ed, but that's nothing new. We've always had sex ed.
And by Florida law, it can't be talked about until 5th grade at the earliest.
Yeah, but it's like, even like sex ed though, I remember I think sex ed started in 6th grade, but it was the girls that went into sex ed because, guys, girls mature faster than us. Even though there was a girl that was just rip ass at the lunch table with us. But no, it's like they had the girls go to sex ed in 6th grade. The guys, I don't think we went to sex ed until 8th grade, I think, maybe.
Twice in 7th.
Yeah, it's just what? You think we haven't already watched porn? Come on.
Well, 7th grade, that's what, 1990. Crap, I'm old.
What is it, 95, 96?
93. 94.
Oh man. Okay, so let me
Whew, that's a long time.
It is. It's a very, very long time. So yeah, there's a lot of miscommunication about this, and again, people think for whatever reason that these kids are seeing learning this stuff that they're simply not learning right now.
Right.
And it's all out of fear. It's all out of fear. I don't understand the whole thing. So Disney has taken a stand pretty much saying that we will not be part of this.
Well, I tell you what, Brandon, one of the things that did come out during all of this, and I mean from official avenues, is the governor's office and the governor himself trying to make correlations between people that I guess are teaching about these communities and also grooming kindergartners for, well, what people groom children for, sexual abuse. So it has been stated that if you oppose this bill, you must be either a groomer yourself or someone that supports adults grooming children for sex purposes.
Yeah. And
I can only
that's
stare blankly for so long.
Yeah, it's one of those deals. Like, I mean, I don't know. People are always going to be afraid of some of the things they don't understand, and there's a lot of people that do not understand, I guess, like the world today and how it's changed. Like, I have a hard time adapting to a lot of things. Like, I mean, you know my views.
Yeah.
Like, you know my views. I know your views. We may not see eye to eye on a lot of views, but the thing is none of my views come from a level of hatred or fear. It's like more like I just don't understand it. Like, tell me.
Yeah, you're
And
just like, I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm confused. All right, so let's see real quick. Going to the comments. Ryan, I'm sorry it took a minute here, buddy. First off, Ryan, it's good to have you on here. You know, miss you, bud. We need to hang out again soon.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we do.
I don't.
Oh, Josh, sometime when you come out here to California, we can actually probably all get together and hang out.
Or everybody can come to Florida.
Yeah, I just left from Florida, and Ryan's already been there. He hated it. He's not going to go back to Florida. Like,
it was worth a shot.
No, so right here, the economy. Ryan says the economy of the state of California is the largest in the United States, with a $3 trillion gross state product (GSP) as of 2020. If California were a sovereign nation, it would rank as the world's fifth largest economy, ahead of the United Kingdom and India, and behind Germany. Yep. While 12% of Americans live in California, the state contributed 14.8% to the GDP in 2021. Florida, which has a 6.6% share of population, only contributed 5.2% of the GDP. No, you're right. Like, I mean, see, I love Ryan. He knows his shit. And that's exactly it. Like, God, I'm going to make so many enemies on this show tonight.
How's it any other Friday night?
Well, because most of the time, actually, there was that one guy that chimed in. We were talking about cuties last year and started calling us all kinds of names, I think. And, he chimed in like at one point after I said I don't support the movie. I was actually kind of disgusted by it. He chimed in after that and started throwing out the whole pedophile and bleeding liberal, whatever, like, just whatever. Yeah, no, it's like if California were to be taken away from the United States, because I remember that was a big thing a few years back. Oh, get rid of California, get rid of all those liberals. Like, there's a lot of red counties in California. A lot. You go into certain areas, you're still going to see a whole bunch of MAGA idiots running around. The patriots that really just practice statism as opposed to just being, patriotic and just saying, hey, I voted for that guy. It's a shame he didn't win. All those fucking morons. Oh, there's my one per episode. See, I get mad at, fuck it. We're throwing that out the window tonight. I get multiple per episode. What?
It was fun making money while it lasted.
Oh, man. No, but the thing is, like, the way that people react to this whole thing, the way Disney reacted, Disney made a choice as a company.
Mm-hmm.
They decided that, and all they decided was that we're not going to donate to any more politicians. They didn't just say, Republicans, no one. Like, they're done. The CEO, he is just finished. And while you have a lot of people on the left, they're like, you know what, Disney, go you. You have people on the right that are like, oh my God, we're not going to Disney anymore. Ban Disney. So I have a great idea for you idiots that are banning Disney right now, okay? Do the same thing your idiot asses did for Nike, okay? And go spend hundreds of dollars on shit, Disney related. While you're banning them, buy $100 worth of shit just so you can have a bonfire and make a video for TikTok or YouTube. Support the company that you don't like by buying shit to burn. Or just burn your shit that you already own. Like, it's whatever. Disney will miss you. But bet your asses are still going to be the next theater when the next Marvel movie comes out.
Well, some people haven't actually made that connection yet.
I know, right? Never mind the fact that those Marvel movies start off with like the Disney banner. And then it goes like the Marvel Studios banner.
Now, I'm about to show an image here, and I want you to read it for our audio listeners and describe it. It's something that I pulled from a Facebook page. So check it out. It's a meme.
Okay.
And I think it's appropriate.
I bring it up. Disney conservatives, drop your weapons or I kill the man. Leftists, kill him. He's not our man. Oh, God. Hi, Mom. So the banned Disney crowd will continue going to Disney. They just won't tell their friends. Got to keep the facade. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's a weird thing, isn't it? Because even now, even post-pandemic, even when some people anyway, are still a little more worried about going out into major crowds.
I'm listening.
Disney World, every park is by appointment only, and it is pretty much at maximum capacity every single day. And there are people lining up and waiting for their opportunity for others to drop out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And well, I mean, it's like, and that's how it is out here in California. A lot of the parks, you had to have an appointment to go. You have to book your tickets in advance to go. I believe, I'm not too sure if Universal Studios is in that club. I know Disneyland is like that. I know SeaWorld, I think, might still be like that. But even then, like, I mean, it's a source of entertainment. Now, I have a lot of friends that are Republican in Florida that will still go to Disney. They still enjoy Disney. And these are people that like still like they post things on Facebook like praise God for our blessings and stuff like that. Like, I'm not religious, like, at all. Borderline atheist. But the thing is even then, I can appreciate what these guys are doing because they're not letting this thing like be, I don't know, divisive the way other people are. Now, this, of course, goes into things like where people are saying like gender identification orientation is nothing more than like a level of confusion. Now, I don't get behind that. Now, I may not understand it. I don't understand the whole non-binary thing. I really don't. I've tried to wrap my mind around it, and I can't. So what I do is I just call them by their name. I call whoever identifies as that way, since I can't bring myself to say they, them, their. I'll just call you by your name. And I will happily refer to you by your name. Because then if I'm in a group of people and I say they said something, no one's going to know who the hell I'm talking about anyway.
Depends on the group of people.
Yeah, no one I know. But the thing is, I will still call you by your name. I will still show you that respect. If you're a fucking 6'5" dude, bulging with muscles, a Terry Crews son of a bitch, and you want to be called Samantha, let me use a different name. Samantha's my baby sister's name. That's just weird. Molly. If a guy comes up, it's like, "Hi, I'm Brian." Molly. Like, Molly, it's nice to meet you.
Manners, you know?
Like, yeah, like, I mean, and plus, either way, if I didn't call this guy this person Molly, chances are I could get my ass kicked, especially if they're bigger than me. But yeah, it's like, if you want to be called something, I will call you something. My views are not popular on either side, because on the right side I'll hear, well, no, it's that's like a very that's not natural. That's not right. Oh, well, I don't know what to tell you. And on the left, I'll say, well, I'm not being progressive enough. It's like, well, you know what? I'm being progressive for me.
Can I throw in just the tiniest bit of explanation here for this particular subject?
Go for it.
All right. there are probably you've heard many times over, gender and gender roles are a societal construct that were created by people. And one of the reasons a certain segment of the population have a problem with this is because they use terms like sex and gender synonymously. After all, gender is a word that describes basically someone's role in society.
Yeah.
And for, X number of generations, it's been completely binary, right? And as time goes on, it got more locked in, especially during the 50s and the 60s. Blue means boy, pink means girl, that kind of thing. But when people started throwing off the societal norms of the time and going outside of the physical boundaries of gender, they basically brought to light that there are no physical boundaries to gender. Now, biological sex, that's a completely different thing. That is something that, a lot of people argue about.
Yeah.
They say things like you should be associated, but you should act like what's between your legs, which is weird to me because I've always been, honestly, okay. Let's talk about me a little bit. A couple weeks back, I did a whole episode about me. So if you want to see more about me, go to episode number 85, and there's like an hour and a half, and it's just all me talking about me. But what you'll see on there is me talking about my love of things creative. I've always been a fan of musicals and musical theater. If you saw the opening to the movie Potluck last night, you'll know that opening was made with a lot of care because I love that subject.
Yeah, jazz hands.
When I'm playing, I get a lot of weird looks from a lot of weird comments from friends when I play things like GTA because all of my cars in the garage are pink. I think pink is an awesome color for a car.
Yeah, it's Aerosmith's favorite color too.
I just knocked stuff over. Anyway, but to put it simply, I myself defy certain aspects of what it is to be masculine, right? I was told, not directly, but pretty much indirectly, that the reason certain things happened in my life is because I wasn't a quote unquote real man. And that kind of comment sticks with you. Not that I care about what anybody thinks of what I am as a man, but it does make you wonder, well, what the hell is that even, especially in the 21st century? And what we're coming to find out is a real man is whatever you want it to be. Now, if you want to talk about what are the typical sex traits of a male, yeah, generally there's something swinging down there. So just wanted to explain the differences between gender and sex and, really point out that it's a stupid argument.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a difference. They're different things.
But this brings us back to the whole conversation at the topic at hand, though. And Josh, real quick, before we go further into this, I think you're manly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Talk to your mother.
Next time I'm in Florida. Yeah.
Again, your mother's
Hi, Mom.
bastard.
Okay, keep it up 1 second. It comes down to sex equals biology and gender equals identity. One does not or should not control the expression of the other. Yeah.
How does your mom explain in like 1-2 sentences what I ramble on for about 5 minutes?
That's what she does. She's actually pretty good at that shit, man.
Mom.
And then my mom went on to have a kid like me.
I'm sure she loves you no matter how much of a disappointment you are.
Yeah. Yeah, she says she's just backing you up, man. But
well, thank you. It is appreciated. And I'm sorry for Brandon.
Hey, I'm actually the good son, okay?
So the other one's a bank robber, huh?
The other one's like I call him Darth Douche. That's a story for another time.
Probably
him and
show too.
Yeah, him and Empress Papa cunts. But either way, yeah, that's like different subject matter for like a Star Wars episode. I could bring them up because I have plenty of like what is like that reface app. I had plenty of refaces I made off of him and his girlfriend, where he's like Anakin and she's like Emperor Palpatine. It just seems to fit. But either way, so coming off those two idiots, though, let's talk more about this. When it comes down to it, I mean, listen, I'm going to put the most blatantly and most blunt yet loving and accepting way I can possibly think of. Guys, I don't care what you stick it in or who you stick it in. I don't care. I don't care who you fall in love with. You do your thing. Ladies, same thing. What you want to lick, grind, insert, I don't care. Have fun. Who you love, not my business. Anyone wants to be called a certain name. If I have like a 6'7" guy wants to be called Molly. If I have a 5 foot nothing, tiny little scrawny little girl that wants to be called Kevin, I'll call you Molly. I'll call you Kevin. I don't give a shit. But I'm also confident in me making my rounds and calling the people I've called and speaking to the people I've spoken with, that this whole gender identity and sexual orientation, sexual identity, and all that happy horse shit is not being taught en masse in schools right now. It's not like all over plastered. It's like A, B, C, D, LGBTQ. That's not hanging in the classroom. Like, guys, it comes a time to just be real. Now, these are very, very different times than they were 20 years ago when I was in high school. That's got a large part of what I'm dealing with, like with my lack of understanding. I don't have kids. Closest thing I had to like any member of the LGBTQ is my dog, because I just think that I don't know, he swings both ways. I think he's pan. But aside from that, you guys have to chill the hell out. Life is way too short. In 500 years, everything we're dealing with right now will mean nothing then. We'll all be long dead, long forgotten.
But somebody needs to think of the children.
Fuck them.
No, don't say that.
Not like literally. That's gross. No, it's like just kids are going to be kids. There are things that I worry about, like if a little boy picks up a Barbie doll, he's automatically in societal terms, like in some places, considered queer, and now they want to like just whatever. If a girl plays in the dirt, all of a sudden now she's a lesbian, like, or she's gay. Like, well, maybe she's just a tomboy. Let kids figure out their own shit. I'm a big fan and proprietor of that. Let them figure themselves out. Kids have to be given that chance for people to make those choices. And this is where my views are not popular. I see it on both sides. People are making choices for their kids while claiming that that the kids are making choices themselves. Kids have to be kids. Kids have to grow. They have to be given that chance to grow into who they are. Now, if there's any level of confusion, talk to the kid. If there is a level of I don't identify this way, talk to the kid. The only evil I can think of is if you have a child, and this is coming from a person that does not have a kid. If you have a child and this child comes to you and says, I don't feel right in my own body. I don't feel like I can identify as this. You know what? The very last thing you need to do is kick that kid out of the fucking house and tell that kid that he doesn't have a home, that you don't love them. You need to talk to the kid and accept and love the kid, no matter how the hell this kid wants to swing his dick or grind the vagina. I don't care what they want to do. Whatever they feel, however they want to carry themselves for the rest of life, whoever they love, accept the damn kid. This bill, you can't get mad at a company for making a choice. These are the very same people getting angry at Disney who supported a bakery that did not want to bake a wedding cake for a gay couple. The very same people who are pissed off at Disney supported that baker. The fuck is the difference? You supported the baker because the baker didn't want to bake a cake for a gay couple, but you're going to support. You don't want to support Disney because Disney made a stand and said, we're just not going to take care of politics anymore. You're going to ban Disney, blacklist Disney, not go to the theme parks. Guys, come on. Let's just all pretend for a second that we've already gone through puberty. We pay our own bills like a bunch of big boys and girls. We have gone on to have boys and girls of our own, most of us, unfortunately, most of you. And go from there. Let's just start practicing love and tolerance at some point. It's just life changes. You don't have to be good with it, but you have to kind of make do. It's not the same world that was when we were kids, for fuck's sake.
Now, I will tell you, as somebody with experience as a parent in this very specific field, not really going to get into the specifics, but you're absolutely right. When your kid comes up to you and explains things that you might not understand, no matter what it may be, there are a few paths that you can take. Think of it as a choose your own adventure. Or
Yep.
if you don't read, think of it as like a video game with a dialogue tree.
Watch the Netflix movie where you have to choose your own adventure. I forget the name of it, but it's really
Bandersnatch.
That's it. Yeah, watch that. It's a choose your own adventure movie.
It'll basically explain the things that you should do when it comes to decision making, and it won't tell you what the decision that you should make is, but it breaks down like this. You can absolutely crush your child and claim that you don't allow them to live what they perceive to be their truth. And that's going to do a couple of things. One, it will pretty much destroy your future relationship with your kid. Because guess what? You can't control that. No matter how much you want to think you can, you can't. When it comes to, sexuality, gender identity, any of these things, those, as a parent, are beyond your control. Maybe not beyond your influence, but definitely beyond something that you can make happen by force.
Yeah.
So that's one way you can go. The exact opposite way is you completely accept your kid for everything that they are. It doesn't mean that you have to start, scheduling surgeries or anything the next day. It just means that you are going to give your kid a safe space. I know some people just completely melt down when they hear safe space. No, you can give your kid a safe space, which is what you should be doing anyway as a parent. No kid should ever think, oh, home is a terrible place to be. I don't feel safe there at all. A kid should always feel safe at home with their parents. It's like literally the one thing we have to do as parents. Food and shelter and all that falls under the safe space feeling. So do it. It might, just my advice. But there's also that place in the middle where you may or may not understand, and you may or may not support the things that are going on with your kid. But it still goes back to whether or not you support the community. You should just default to supporting your kid. Even if you don't, you could be the biggest homophobe in the world. And if your kid says, I'm gay, you may not be a supporter, but be a supporter of your kid. At the very least. Now, one of my biggest qualms with the law that that sparked this whole thing, a couple things. It forces schools to out the student to their parents, even if it could be dangerous. Because no matter how much we love to say parents love their kids and support their kids, especially some of those people that are the loudest about saying they support their kids, there are definitely parents out there that would not be so welcoming of the news.
Oh, yeah.
That in some cases, as you mentioned, could lead to
shunning,
yeah, people being kicked out of their homes, and in some extreme cases, death.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The shunning is always a precursor, though. The shunning is usually, and of course, there you have like the diehard hick ones that would probably break out a 12-gauge shotgun and, take the kid out to pasture. But yeah, here's the thing. Like I said, it is a very, very different time today. And I know that a lot of people that I get messages from on my viewpoints on the show that I occasionally bring up think that time in California has, quote unquote, made me soft. No. It's called getting older and seeing more of the world and having my mind a little bit more open and also thinking less about hating people. A lot of you sister fucking conservatives that I am speaking about that are very much people I know.
Very specific.
Yeah. When you're done preaching the fucking Bible, maybe start reading it. Gay is not really condemned by Jesus in the Bible at all. The whole what would Jesus do? Maybe lead by example and stop being a bunch of dickbags.
Oh yeah.
So
in those books, Jesus hung out with hookers and gamblers and all those degenerates. It's true.
Yeah. Danielle wants to say hi. Let me flip the camera around real quick. Joking. No, but the thing is, like, when everything's said and done, it doesn't hurt at all to be less hateful. If anything, it takes much less energy to not be hateful. It takes so much less energy just to accept what is and not keep fighting it. The world will change. If it doesn't affect you directly, maybe don't worry about it.
That's something that surprises the crap out of me because I've heard the arguments, like someone that I know, I'm not going to say who, but someone close to me said, I support this bill. I think it's a good law. And I'm like, you don't have any school-age children. You have no dog in this fight at all. What? Why?
Yeah.
What? It makes no sense to me. Just like, it makes no sense to, like I was saying, take away a possible safe space for a kid to feel safe. If they don't feel safe at home, it's possible they could feel safe at school, but now that's kind of illegal.
Yeah.
Now, I think the worst part about everything is the glass that is being spread out on the floor. Because now anybody in these environments, if a parent thinks or feels like this subject matter is being brought up to their kids, they are given an open door to sue. And then the school district has to pay for that lawsuit.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Texas abortion law. If you know or suspect anybody that might want to get an abortion, you can sue them.
Oh, yeah. And you can actually make money for turning them in. But the thing is, like, I'm sorry, no, you can get money for turning them in after they get an abortion. That's what it is. If they go out of state and get an abortion, they come back into the state, you can actually, you know. But yeah, so it's like the whole thing is that, you know, let me see if I can find this really quick. Because there are, I'm not saying that, honestly, I don't agree with anything the government passes. What my thing is like, if you are a diehard anti-government, you know, believer, if you're like, what, and that's the other thing, the people that I know that are so supportive of this and so supportive of the, like, as you mentioned, like the abortions just being like, you know, made illegal in Texas. The people that I know that support these things are people that I always hear about, like, less government. Well, if you want less government, how about you stop letting government dictate everything that happens in your life? If it doesn't affect the government, and honestly, if you think about a lot of these fucking laws that are passed are laws that are passed because someone in government did something to fuck up. So, I mean, it's just like, it's, I don't know. Or like, it's like a law that was written because something affected them personally and they decided to do what they do best, which is dictate what everyone else can do. Let's be real. No one in government becomes a member of any government to make the county or whatever better. They do it as an ego boost. Most times. Most times it's they want some power over something.
Mm-hmm. So
that's my experience. And yeah, but it's like still, I'm trying to find the notes that I had on the bill because I read the whole thing. And I was making some notes on things that made sense and some things because I was going to break it down completely. And again, this is me coming from a very, very centrist kind of like section because with everything, nothing is purely done out of a position of being evil when it comes to these bills. They're not all meant to be like, even people that make these things think that they're doing a service by making these bills. Like a lot of these things that are made, I just don't know where the hell I put the notes at. Hope I didn't delete them. But no one ever sits out and is like, how can I be evil today? Like, I'm going to really fuck up the world. Like, no one like wakes up, even like, fuck, even Hitler didn't think that he was fucking up the world. He just thought that he was doing a service to all of mankind. He was an evil son of a bitch. I'm happy he's dead. But he honestly thought he was doing a service to the world. If he is not dead, then he's probably down there freezing with Walter Disney right now. So, because let's face it, Walter Disney was not a great guy. He was a horrible human being. But
he also didn't have an affinity for the Jewish people, from what I understand.
Well, you know what? If Walt Disney were alive right now, he'd probably support this bill 100%. Be like, you know what, DeSantis, you get my money. The world needs more Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis, 2024. Like, whatever. Let me see here. These are the notes, I think. Hey, do me a favor, pass some time and talk about something random.
Okay. This week, I have been doing a lot of extra editing projects because I'm trying to become a better video editor. I even I've even put up some video that I've intentionally added things that would get copyright infringement so I could challenge them, right? And that did happen, and in one of the challenges, it was very much a fair use video usage because it was for educational purposes, and the goal, I think, is to make sure that the copyright holder of said footage is required to look at the footage to see if it falls into fair use. And hopefully, when they watch the footage to find out if it falls under fair use, they will look at it and say, wow, this is kind of impressive. So how about we hire this guy and make him a part of our team?
Okay, here we go. Sorry. Can I cut you off?
Oh, I'm done.
Okay, good. Well, yay, good timing. We're so in tune. I love it. Basically, so there are things in the Don't Say Gay bill that I kind of can get behind. Okay, and it's only because, again, I'm a huge fan of letting kids just be kids. Now, if I were teaching a class and the kid were to come up to me and ask me, what is non-binary? What is this? What is that? What is this? What is that? You bet your ass. Especially like a young kid, my reaction would be like, when you go home, you need to go ask your mom this. Ask me these questions. I will write them down on a piece of paper right now for you. And then when you go home, hand her the paper, and I'll make sure on the paper I write down, your son or your daughter asked me these questions. I didn't feel it was my place to tell them.
Mm-hmm.
That way, like, I'm absolved. Like, I let you know your child came to me and asked me these questions. I think you need to have a conversation with this child.
That's fair.
It's like where do babies come from? I don't know. I just found mine.
Cleveland.
Cleveland. But the thing is, like, that's not my place to have that talk with someone else's kid.
Right. Absolutely.
Like, I mean, so I would very happily, like, I get behind like 100% where it says, like, and this is directly from the bill. Classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation or gender identity may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3, or in a manner that is not age appropriate or developmentally appropriate for students in accordance with state standards. Now, I know that's where I know that's where it gets a whole "don't say gay" thing. I partially agree with that because, you know, if there's someone that's developmentally disabled, you are dealing with someone sometimes that has that mentality of a child. So you go from dealing with like a little kid to like a third grader. I don't want to have to explain like anything sexual related or even sexual identity or orientation, anything like that. Hey, I really like Bobby. Oh, that's cool, buddy. Hopefully Bobby likes you back. Like, just you know, it's what it is. What it is. Like, I don't want to be the person that has to explain this confusion of feelings that this little boy or little girl might have towards another little boy or little girl. It's not my place to have that conversation. That is the parent's place, 100% in my mind. And again, like, I mean, if it's not like age appropriate, if I don't feel it's age appropriate, then you know what? That's where I agree with this. If I feel it's not age appropriate, my ass ain't saying shit. Now, it's not saying it's part of the curriculum. That's where people on the right are freaking the hell out, though, about this. Because of this bill, a lot of people who never even thought about this before, they get this bill and they immediately jump to conclusions about this bill. That's where my lack of patience with the right comes from. Because they think that because this bill exists, oh, well, all these liberals are teaching my kids that they should go and hook up with members of the same sex, or that my kids are going to come home wearing a pink dress and a tutu instead of like camouflage, whatever. It's nothing of the sort. Now, on that line, I do agree with it. Now, moving down, it prohibits like instruction around gender identity and sexual orientation, but also classroom discussion of these topics. But it doesn't prohibit that. There's nothing in there that says that there's no classroom discussion. The students are welcome to discuss this amongst themselves. It's saying that pretty much they don't feel like it's on the teacher's end to have this conversation with these little kids. I could not agree with that more. I would want, if my kid, Josh, if I had a child that was confused about something or was dealing with some level of self-identification, of some sort, whether it's like a personal exploration or like identification of their gender or their sexual orientation, I would want my kid to come talk to me. I don't want my kid to go talk to a teacher. But then, as I said before, there's a flip side of that. What if the parents are not very supportive? Either way, I don't feel it's in the teacher's place or even the best interest ever to discuss this with a child until it is a sex ed conversation in class at a later time, because that's what sex ed did. Sex ed was pretty much this don't say gay thing. But it's like not like this exact, like literally. But sex ed waited till kids were age appropriate. That's what sex ed did. It waited till so in my mind, aside from the gender identification, sexual orientation, all that stuff, it pretty much covered the basic fundamentals of how you reproduce. That was sex ed. But they wanted it to be age appropriate. Parents were in an uproar about that too.
Still are. So
this uproar is, yeah, they still are. But yeah, so like going down the list here though, classroom instruction, and this is all like stuff I'm reading. Like I pulled up an article saying like classroom instruction could mean eliminating books in the classroom with LGBTQ characters or historical figures. No, classroom discussion is a broad phrase. And it could mean that teachers with a student with a gay parent should not talk about those families with the entire class. This is speculation. This is not inside that bill. This is strictly speculation. So there's a lot here that's like misunderstood on both sides.
But it simply is. It is written in a way that is vague enough to where it could be used as grounds for a lawsuit against the teacher.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Teachers, well, I mean, lawsuits happen all the time. People get sued for any like number of reasons. The bill was largely created to protect teachers. That was the large portion of the bill, was to protect teachers, because these days people will sue over anything and everything. Pretty much like, so people will sue over anything and everything. That's just how it works. So this bill was created in place to protect these teachers, which again, that's what I'm saying. It's not the teacher's position to say a damn thing. With or without this bill, I don't think any teacher should say anything. I think that they should accept each kid as they are and not belittle them. Of course. Like I said, little Susie out there playing in the damn mud, she may not be like, you know, a member of the LGBTQ community. She may just be a tomboy. Who knows? She might grow up to be the prom queen and married to a very, like, you know, like, and a very happy marriage with a male. She might end up being in a straight marriage with kids and eventually die a great grandmother, never having a second thought of like what it'd be like to go, you know, hook up with a woman, or even like have a different kind of identity of what's. People are jumping to conclusions. That's all there is to it. People are rushing nature. All the damn always. And it's not just one side that's at fault. You have dumbass conservatives, you have dumbass liberals. Both sides are doing it. And both sides are reading too far into this bill. One is like, America, fuck yeah. You know, that's one side. The other side is like, oh, we are not going to get behind this. Like, Disney just made a choice. I know we've come away from the conversation of Disney, but Disney made a business choice. Disney said, you know what, this is too much heat. This is like, you know, we're not going to do anything more with politicians. That's all there is to it. Anywhere. And people are making a mass exodus away from Disney because Disney made a business decision. But like I said, the very people, and I even like, you know, posted this on Facebook for all the world to see because I believe it that much, the very people who are screaming about Disney making a business decision and we're not going to support them are the same people who supported a bakery that didn't want to bake a cake for a gay couple. Pick and choose. But if you have convictions, you might want to stick to them because it is hysterically pathetic to me. Like, you know, I know a lot of friends that are diehard liberals. You know what? Chick-fil-A, I think Danielle said it best the other day. Chick-fil-A has made a lot of donations, and you and I have had this conversation too. Mm-hmm. has made contributions largely to anti-LGBTQ community situations. But I know a lot of people that it's like they as we were saying, like Chick-fil-A. Oh well, you know what? I don't support what they did, but damn, their food's delicious. Like once in a while, like, go like whatever. But it's just like there's so much to this. And here's one thing. Here's one more thing I support in this bill. Let me say this really quick. Schools would be required to notify parents when children receive mental, emotional, or physical health services, unless educators believe there is a risk of abuse, abandonment, or neglect. That is a very much, if you want, I can actually read the line itself to you.
Didn't you just do that?
No, this is actually just like it sums it up. But in accordance with the rights of parents, adopt procedures for notifying a student's parent if there is a change in the student's services or monitoring related to the student's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being, and the school's ability to provide a safe and supportive learning environment for the students. The procedures must reinforce the fundamental right of parents to make decisions regarding the upbringing and control of their children, which is what I was just talking about. Almost verbatim what I just said. Regarding the upbringing and control of their children by requiring school district personnel to encourage the student to discuss issues relating to his or her well-being with his or her parent, or to facilitate discussion of the issue with a parent. Unfortunately, you don't know what the parent's reaction is going to be. You never know. You could see a father have a very close relationship with his son. They could be BFFs, always laughing, joking, and everything else. And that son could come out to say, I'm either gay or I don't identify as such and such. And that father flat would be like, my son's dead to me now.
Mm-hmm.
Or that saying, like, or maybe like a more hardened looking father, big burly man with a beard that's like just like a man's man, whatever. Out there chopping wood and everything else. Son comes home, says, that's all right. You're my son. I love you either way. Let's figure this out. You never know. You never know. But it's not up to the teachers, in my mind, to be the ones to have these conversations. It never should be. Like, I don't think it should ever be. I hope that the teachers accept that child for everything that the child is, of course. But there's a lot of stuff in this bill that's like being demonized. But my big thing is like, well, I think people are gravely misunderstanding this bill that I don't support because it came from government, and I think people should just do their own damn thing. But what it comes down to this whole show is that Disney made a call. Disney made a call that we will not be getting involved because this is too controversial. This is where politics are going, that we're not getting behind it, which of course I find kind of ironic as well, because Disney has actually gotten behind politicians that have made much worse choices than this. But, this bill is like the straw that broke the camel's back, and Disney's walking away.
And Disney's one of those companies that always hedges their bets and gives money to everybody.
Mm-hmm. What was that saying that from Age of Ultron, I think? Make your friends rich, make your enemies rich, make your enemies rich, and wait to find out which is which. That has pretty much been Disney's motto the entire since their existence.
Mm-hmm.
But
now, before we get out of here, I do think we need to. We touched on the repercussions of Disney's choice, as far as financial, but we didn't really go into the fact that there are repercussions is insane.
Right? Yeah.
And I believe you remember, what was it, Citizens United?
Yes, I do.
Corporations are people. Well, if corporations are people, and Disney, being a corporation, decided to make a statement, especially with their dollars, they are now being punished by the government for their speech, which is a direct violation of the First Amendment. Like the literal definition of violation of free speech.
Yeah.
That, out of everything that's happened over the last couple weeks in Florida, that I think is the most egregious thing that needs to be. Someone needs to correct that. Not necessarily the decision of taking away their special tax status, because, whatever. But just the idea that the government, the Florida government, is going after an entity that they themselves recognize as a person with free speech, it's unconscionable.
I mean, that's where the world is today. But that's where the world is today. People lack the very convictions that they claim that they have. The God-fearing people don't act as if they would actually fear God. They don't act in a way that you think that a person that would. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. They act exactly how you would think someone that fears God would act. They lash out at people. There is no such thing as a hate stronger than Christian love. Well, born again Christian love. Let me put it that way. Like just die hard, devout Christian love. We see it from I'm not going to go into a priest joke, but the thing is, a lot of people that have these convictions don't have a single damn conviction at all. They don't. Because again, looking on Facebook, let me see. And for sensitive viewers, I know I've already said a few naughty words on here. I'm about to bring out a really, 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 really naughty F word here while I read this comment. This is in regards to the bakery. Okay? I had to dig for this one. This is from a gentleman on Facebook who posted, let me find this. I'm not going to share this person's name because they're already getting enough shit. And it's hysterical.
I'm going to clear myself from the screen so I'm not with this verbalization.
Okay. All right. So this person is on here talking about how, for Disney. Again, I'm not going to say any names. All right. I'm not going to blast this person. But can you believe that Disney does not have the backbone to support a politician that strictly loves and fears God? How dare you think for a second that it's okay to support a business that's so evil? Yeah. Again, the business made a decision, and he's condemning them for this decision. Now, going back to a earlier post I had saved in my screenshots here with a bakery back in what do you call it? That was like 2014, I think, in Colorado, where the baker did want to make a wedding cake for a gay couple. Yeah, I'm not going to use that because it's such a. I'm better using the. I'm better using I'll use my F word instead of the other one. But either way, so Josh is safe. I'll use my F word. I've already used it enough tonight. So this guy goes on here and says, so a baker doesn't want to serve a bunch of fuckers. He doesn't say fuckers. It goes from F-A, ends with T-S. So, how dare a baker don't want to serve a bunch of fuckers? Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. Go cry about it. And businesses have every right to make their own decisions as to who they can and cannot serve or who they will not serve. Have you ever walked into a store and says that we withhold the right to refuse service? That's what this bakery did. Stop bitching. They made a business decision. This is just come on.
Same guy?
Same guy. And devout Christian is in his description on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is
you know what? Face. I know a man shall not lie with another man is in the Bible. That wasn't Jesus that said that. That's Old Testament shit. But the thing is that people that preach these days, they don't have anything to really preach. It's like, think of like the Book of Eli, right? Denzel Washington carrying the Bible from coast to coast, like trying to get to whatever. I think it was,
I haven't seen it.
Well, it's an okay movie. It's not great, but it's okay. But he's trying to get from wherever out to the West Coast because a voice is guiding him. Gary Oldman is a guy that runs a town, and he hears that this man that's in his town stopping through has a Bible. Someone tells him it's just a book. He says it's not a book, it's a weapon. Yeah, a conviction is only a conviction if it fits the current agenda. Exactly, Mom. Thank you. That's it. Like I said, and first I'm going to quote Ricky Gervais. We're all going to die someday, and there's no sequel. Guys, just live your life, okay? Until something actually directly affects you, pretend for a second that's not the most evil thing in the fucking world. Not everything is meant to be divisive. Some things, and again, I'm sure that this bill came from a attempted good place. I have no doubt. Obamacare started the same way too. We're still running from that bullshit, 14 years later. 14? 12 or 13, whatever it was. But either way, everything that is put in that bill, I can see where the ideas came from. But the thing is people are too busy shouting about the bill as opposed to reading it and understanding that, okay, maybe that there are some good in this thing. There's some not great things in it, but there's some good in it too. It's kind of like a yin yang in its own making, from what I'm reading of it. But whether you do or do not support that bill, support the fact that a business made a business call. You don't have to support the business, that's fine. But if you supported another business before for making a business call, why don't you support this business for making a business call? That's what it comes down to. Disney decided flat out, you know what, we're done, and they walked away, as I said earlier. That's all there is to it. You don't want to go to Disney, you know what, fine, don't go to Disney. There's less people crowded the park than for other people.
No, there's still going to be the same amount of people.
It's going to be the same people posting about how they didn't go to Disney and they won't go to Disney anymore, just like what happened with the damn NFL. Oh, ban the NFL. We're not watching it anymore. Same people posting on Facebook today about the NFL. The players and everything else. Like, oh, I thought you banned them. What happened? Got bored? Don't know how to read? Don't have any hobbies? Need a reason to go drink a beer and go home and beat your wife? I don't know. What happened? There's a lot here that's just, it's getting way too hot, and I don't blame Disney for walking away. I would have done the same thing as a business. It is causing too much of a stir, and Disney does not Disney fired Johnny Depp, for fuck's sake. They fired Johnny Depp over a failed lawsuit in England for defamation of character, or I'm sorry, was it libel or slander, or whatever it was? But they did not want to be involved with it, so they fired him from Pirates of the Caribbean. He got fired from Warner Brothers, from Harry Potter, whatever the hell this series is called. He got fired from that because it's just too much controversy. They don't want to be mired in, that's it. They don't want to be mired in controversy. It happens. It's not a new business decision. It's a very old one. Disney does not want to be surrounded by controversy, so they're just walking away from any controversy.
And we ourselves have made these same types of decisions when there are people, not necessarily because of controversial viewpoints, but just there are certain situations and environments that we personally don't want to be associated with. So we cut ties and move on.
And that's it. And it's well within our rights to do so. Everyone should have a choice to make a choice. They should have that right to make decisions. If you want them for yourself, support it if someone else has the same thing. If you want to live your own life and you want it to be accepted, then accept other people as well. The world is always changing. society is always changing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the devil taking over. It's not preparing for the second coming of Christ. The world always changes. Gay people, transsexual people, people like people like just like having a hard time with like their identity. That's been going on for God, how since any of us have ever been alive.
Since people existed.
Yeah, since before we were even forming in the nutsack of our dads while he was in the womb of our grandmother. Okay, that's how far. Like it goes back further than that. Every single thing that's happening. Just really, how about this? Just mind our businesses. Let other people do their own thing. Other people will live a life. We don't have to like. You're not obligated to accept somebody. You're not obligated to be nice to people. Obviously, you have the right to have your own decisions. But it doesn't mean that you have to be hateful towards the situation in general.
I'm going to argue pedantically one minute point.
Go for it.
There are exactly 2 places in this world where somebody should never have to feel unsafe
Ouch.
or hated.
Mm-hmm.
The first is your own home.
Absolutely. Agreed.
The second, and this applies mostly to kids, is school.
Yep.
No matter who you are, who you identify as, what you identify as, no matter what pronouns you want to use, no matter what, those 2 places should always be a safe place, and that should never be compromised.
Absolutely agreed.
And I know I do what I can to make that a reality. For my own kids, they know that they can talk to me, and they know that I'm on board with whatever decisions they have to contend with. I'm there to help them. I'm there to help them, not choose their path for them. I can give them what I've learned over the years, but when it all comes down to it, they still have to make their own path.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's like that's it though. It's like that's exactly what I was saying. Let the kids be kids. Let them grow into their own. Like let them figure themselves out. And if there is an issue and you spot an issue, by all means, if they're not coming to you, bring it up and let them know it's okay to come to you with anything. Be supportive. Start being supportive from a young age. Let them know that you're always a safe, a very, very safe place and a guaranteed bet that you're going to support them however you can. With every ounce of your wherewithal, you will be there for that kid. You don't have to like understand what's going on with them. You don't have to agree 100%, but you should always support that child regardless. Everyone makes decisions. Everyone deals with something. Everyone goes through something as well, and everyone grows in different ways. You have to. No kid should ever feel unsafe at home. And unfortunately, while you are right, no child should ever feel unsafe at school. You know, shit will always happen at school. That is unavoidable.
But there is a difference between feeling unsafe and having some mild turbulence.
I know. But it's like, while I talk about times changing, right? What is considered bullying today is laughable to me. What would have been laughable to me as a kid.
Oh, you're an expert on what bullying is today, are you?
Let me finish. I'm not saying that it's any. You get that face, get that look off your face. But I'm not saying that it's hard for the kids today. But what I'm saying is, like, when I was a kid, bullying was flat out waking up being terrified to go to school because I didn't know if I was going to get my ass kicked. Like, I was physically in fear for my safety. There were multiple times where I got into altercations with kids. I mean, I was like, especially when I was in sixth grade at this place, Claire Barton in sixth grade. I was constantly being harassed all the time at school. I don't think I ever even talked to my mom about it because I was like, it was just like second nature to me. I was being treated like this guy, Greg Temple, when I was a kid, was a fucking douchebag. It took years for me to let go of my hatred. Now, he could die in a fire tomorrow, and I barely bat an eye. Like, oh, that sucks for his family.
I should find him and at him on this episode.
But the thing is that, as I got older, as time went on, I let go of all that resentment and everything else I had, like this hatred, like I hope he dies in the fire. Into if he dies in the fire, I'm not going to mourn about it. I'll at least feel bad for his family, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my experience. Bullying was getting shoved against lockers, being physically like handled by somebody that was like bigger than me. Being like slammed against a wall or something like that. Like my physical harm is something I thought about every single day. I didn't know if I was going to get my ass kicked. That was like until I moved away, and like actually up until I went to, I guess, 8th grade is when that shit stopped. But now it's like a lot of it's like cyberbullying and harassment. There's still a little bit of the physical aspect of things, but now it's all mental. A lot of it is more mental and emotional these days.
Some of it, yes, but there is still a whole lot of ass beatings.
No, I'm sure there is. But I'm just saying, is like a large part of what you hear about with bullying these days, like some of the most detrimental ones and everything else, a lot of it is cyberbullying, sending out videos and whatnot, like humiliation, stuff like that. Maybe it's because I just have no shame. But it's just like, that's
the I think between when we grow up versus the way the kids are growing up now. When we went to school and had our bullies, we would go to school and whatever happened, but then we would go home.
Yeah.
But now the kids live in a world where it is a constant connection and in some cases constant harassment, even on the phone, on the computer. And I know it's easy to say, well, why are you letting your children get on these things? Well, it's very difficult to give your kids the tools they need without the tools.
Yeah.
Navigating the cyber world, pardon my 90s terminology, is just very much a basic fact of life for kids.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The kids need to know how to navigate the web. It is not only just because it's the way life is, but quite frankly, a lot of school curriculum is built around navigating the web and working sites and doing homework, all of it online. My kids, I have a kid in high school, I have a kid in middle school, and I have a kid in elementary school. The middle school kid has 0 textbooks. Everything is online. The older kid, high school kid, no textbooks.
God, I wish.
Everything's online. The youngest has, I want to say, 3 different websites that they have to log into to do all of the work they need to do.
Can you imagine if we were kids, instead of lugging around like 75-pound book bags at all times with like all of our books in it?
And they're issued laptops.
Yep.
So the world of online is just something that's unavoidable for kids in this day and age, for a good portion of them. I'm pretty sure there's places out there where the dial-up connection still, golly gee whiz, we got on to the AOL,
Stay off the phone.
Mama, I'm trying to download something. But The fact is, kids have so much pressure today.
Oh yeah, no. See, I'm not like I don't want you to think I was negating what was happening today. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying like if I was like compared to like what I experienced as a kid, if it was like me as a kid coming into the world today, like just boom, like my I guess 12-year-old self is now suddenly walking in 2022, and I see someone get nasty. I'm like, oh, that looks familiar. I see someone like crying over like a video of them, like that's upsetting you.
And let's face it, you're the one sending D-pics to the teacher.
Yeah. It was like, aha, pedophile. Looks like I'm getting good grades this year, huh?
I call this extra credit.
Why would you send me this? It's an investment.
It's called blackmail, teacher. That's that is something.
Yeah, this is getting into a very dark realm.
Well,
look, teacher, it's your favorite place to touch. Like,
I'm pivoting. Let me pivot. I've noticed that when it comes to the kids today, because I work with every grade level now, that they are a lot sharper than we ever were.
Oh yeah.
They are more socially aware, up and down, at basically every level. And oh God, I couldn't begin to tell you how much of an annoyance a teenager with a cell phone is. Not just because, oh, I'm talking to Becky or I'm playing the latest tunes, but Jesus, imagine all of the stupid things we did as teenagers.
Oh yeah.
Imagine if we had like phones
and video proof
and evidence of the crimes that we committed.
Thankfully, most of the things that I've ever done, there's absolutely no pictures or videos of them. I have pictures and videos of a few, but the really big ones, I don't have. No. Well, underage drinking isn't a big deal. Some of the other things I've done, though, yeah, I'm very happy that there's no physical evidence anywhere of it. Otherwise, I'd probably be serving like 2 consecutive life sentences in prison. So,
like when I said kids live online, they are so completely unashamed.
Oh, I know.
So
I know.
Your mom says hello.
Lucky for you. Hey, Mom, remember when you and Jimmy went to New Mexico and he told me not to burn down the house and I almost burnt down the house?
Almost.
Lit up the entire street from the industrial fire alarm we had in that house. It's okay. Don't worry. The house didn't burn down. And I also don't have any pictures of that one. I kind of wish I did. Because it wasn't funny then to Mom and my stepdad Jimmy, but I think we can look back and kind of like laugh about it now. Like, but anyway,
I think the last thing I want to say, maybe you should have said this up front, but it's for, in particular, any of our conservative viewership / listenership. Although, if you got this far, kudos. But I think I want to say very specifically, and I'm pretty sure I speak for Brandon when I say, and yes, I'm saying this to both sides of the aisle. I'll even say it to the middle of the aisle and to the back of the aisle and everybody. This message is for everybody.
The whole grocery store.
All of it. It's okay to vote for who you want to vote for. Even if I think they're, puritanical assholes that want to go back to a time and era that never existed, or if somebody else thinks that another group of people are a bunch of tree-hugging libtard idiots. The point is, either way, it's okay to vote for who you want to vote for, as long as their ideals line up with yours. And I guess if you're just like punching random numbers or holes in the ticket too, you just vote. It's fine. The only thing that I ask, and I think Brandon, you'll agree.
Okay.
When it comes time to voting for who you want to vote for and supporting the policies you want to support and throwing your goodwill behind a very specific person, please don't be a dick.
Yep.
There was a point in time in this country where you could say, "Oh, you voted for that guy? Well, good luck with that. I voted for the other guy." And then that was that. Nobody got shot.
Oh yeah, I know.
Nobody was threatened. Everybody was like, okay.
Yep.
It just seems like the era of not overreacting is...
It'll come back eventually. It's slowly sinking back, very slowly, to a degree. Not entirely, but to a degree. But yeah, people just suck.
And it would be nice if our politicians would just stop with the extreme rhetoric. If you hate this bill, then you're a child grooming pedophile.
Yep.
Wait, what? That's a bit of a stretch there, buddy.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's the thing, though, is like, because you see that, and again, this is on both aisles. And I said this: stop overreacting. It's okay to support the bill, or at least parts of it. I sure as hell do. There are some things in there that I can fully get behind, but at the same time, I don't support anything that dictates how a person can live. That's what I don't support. Like, I don't support licenses for hunting and fishing and all that stuff. I don't support that stuff. Driving, absolutely. But natural things, camping, I don't support those kinds of bills. Like, if it's like a natural whatever, I believe whatever, you should be able to do what you got to do. But when it comes down to, like, how a person loves another person, who they want to get married to, how do they want to identify, I don't support bills like that. Like, just let those people be their own people. I don't care.
It always surprises me that it's not Republicans that are super down with a gay crowd, right? Because being gay is like, the government shouldn't tell me who to love. We want smaller government.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's not even a Republican thing. It's not Republican. It's not Democrat. It is like, you have to go to the extremes. It is either the far left or the far right that I can't have a conversation with. If this is like someone that's just like a Democrat, like a centrist, I guess, whatever. And I guess these days, just the Republicans and Democrats, how they used to be, are now more centrist than they were back then. The conservatives are like just super conservative. Like, it's hard to have a conversation with them at all because they're always right. The diehard liberals
did that.
The diehard liberals, it's hard to have a conversation with them because they're always right. There's like, and so it's running off of emotions and beliefs as opposed to just, politics. It's like, it's so much more like, when you're talking to someone who's running high on emotions, you can't have a conversation ever.
No.
But like the Democrats, Republicans, there are plenty of people that I know Republicans that are gay.
Yeah.
I know a few of them.
It happens.
But it's just like, when it comes down to it, I know that there are a few conservative assholes that have had issues if they're, things have come to light. Like, oh yeah, well, like once in a while, like, whatever. It's like, like the pastors that, like, have that come out as gay at some point, whatever. And things have happened. But I mean, yes, like just as you said, guys, there's no need to overreact. There's no need to be a dick. There's no need. Just like, come on, we're all living on this world together. We're all here.
For the politicians.
Like, if I say good morning to you, you don't have to respond to me. And if I say fuck you for not saying good morning back to me, you don't have to respond to me then either. It's okay. But you're welcome to say good morning back, and you're also welcome to say fuck you back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, we all have to coexist, whether you guys like it or not.
Yeah.
We are all going to have our beliefs. We're all going to have our way of doing things. We're all going to have like what we are used to. We're going to have our comfort zones or lack thereof. It's okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to be comfortable. It's okay to be accepting. It's okay to not accept something because, let's face it, there are some things that I don't accept. But at the same time, as I said earlier, none of them come from a place of hate. If it's not coming from hate, it's okay to not accept something. I don't accept the damn IRS. I still deal with those assholes, but I also coexist with them.
I'm going to add an addendum to that. Even if it is coming from a not so great place in your heart, say if there's something you really despise as far as lifestyles go, then remember this important fact. In this country, we were told we have the right to...
Josh, I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay. To the pursuit of happiness, which means naturally that one should be able to follow the path that they so desire, as long as it does not, infringe on the law or on the happiness of others. Now, that's where a lot of people seem to get kind of hung up. When they believe that their lifestyle should supersede others. Where someone says, I don't believe in this, so you can't do it. That's, in my opinion, it's always going to be wrong. Your beliefs should not dictate how I live my life. Just like my beliefs shouldn't dictate how you live your life. Because like Brandon said, at the end of the day, we're all on this rock together.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm here.
I made such a great, poignant statement, and you're just like not even here to comment on it.
I'll go back. I'll rewatch it. God, what do you want from me? It's, we have these shows that we can go back and visit.
That's true. That's true. Basically, it boiled down to your belief shouldn't dictate my life. My belief shouldn't dictate your life.
Absolutely.
Except my belief should dictate your life, Brandon, because,
Yep. Definitely does. Oh, my God. Both my eyes itch. Okay.
Because you're not wearing your glasses.
No, I think that's why they itch. All right, well, let me just go ahead and put them on real quick. You're saying?
Feel better?
No, not yet, man. My God. 1 second. A little foggy.
A little foggy? Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Okay. All right. Mask. Got it. Yep. Oh,
Okay.
Just go ahead.
Good.
Just these things right there. Okay. You're saying?
I don't recall anymore.
Yeah, something about dictating, your opinion should matter to me or something.
No, I'm just kidding. Everyone knows your girlfriend dictates your life.
Yeah. Okay.
Just ask her. Ask her. Go ahead.
Oh, God. Sorry.
You're not going to ask her, are you? Because you're afraid.
Danielle. Woman. Do you dictate my life? She didn't even answer me because she knows that she doesn't.
She didn't answer you because that's a dumbass
Anyway, well, it's about time to wrap.
Why is this a question? You know I do.
It's about time to wrap this up, though, because I've got to start getting ready to go to work here in a few minutes.
Yeah, here I thought, how are we going to get an hour out of this? Here we are, almost 2 hours later.
I told you. This is like a bustling topic, and it's something that you and I very much have two different opinions over. Well, well, I guess more yours is from experience, mine is from lack of understanding. So it's like that's pretty much like, but at the same time, neither like mine, as I said, clearly doesn't come from a place of hate. If anything, I think everything is absolutely hysterical.
This is my daily life.
Yeah. But
I will be dealing with the consequences for a long time to come.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I know. But yeah, so it's like the whole thing is like, I mean, there are things that you and I honestly do not agree on with each other, but none of them are, again, from a place of hatred or intolerance or anything like that. As I said earlier, love who you love, stick it where you stick it, grind against what you want to grind with, and put in it what you want to put in it. I don't care. Identify how you want to identify. I don't care. I may not be able to physically or mentally do the whole they, them, their thing, but I will always call you by whatever name you want me to call you. That's my way of saying, like, let's meet in the middle, because I can't get my head around this, but I'm not going to completely, I guess, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not going to dismiss you on any level. I'm not a dismissive person. I'm going to acknowledge you and respect you. And that's my way of doing it. And you're welcome to sit down, have a beer with me, have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. More need to be had. Like, if, you know, conversation can be a great cure-all to a lot of things, especially if it's just like done in a level of, civility. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way that often. But I'll say this: if you're watching the show and anything I said upsets you, first off, I don't care. Second, I will say that whoever you are as a person, whoever you love, however you identify, anything, it is none of my concern. None of my business whatsoever. And I absolutely accept you 100% for who you are as a person and what you choose to do in your life. As long as it's not raping and murdering people, you're okay. Or child trafficking. Or let's just like, if you do decent things, I accept you. If you're just like some douchebag that probably should not be alive, I don't accept you. But it's not because of what you identify as. You get what I'm saying. I am tired. I need more coffee. I've got to get going. But before I go, we were supposed to do this last week, I believe, and we didn't get around to it. We are offering a code for a digital code for movies. Didn't get to it last week because I kind of slacked on that one. That was on me. No one else, not Josh. That was on me. But this code is for this wonderful movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Okay? As a way of showing how much I love all of you guys, this code is a code coming from a movie in my favorite franchise on this planet. And I will be posting it on the WADcast page on Facebook. When you claim it, let us know. Don't just go on there and be like, oh, I got a code now, I'm going to snatch it. Comment if you got it. Let us know. And then we'll, acknowledge you next week. I'll acknowledge you later on, but we'll acknowledge you verbally and physically next week on the next show. But yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife, that code is going to be getting dropped on the Facebook page tonight. And I don't know, do we do that, Josh, or we just like find a random person to message that actually listens and comments on our show?
Does your mom want Ghostbusters Afterlife?
Mom, do you want Ghostbusters Afterlife? Let's see if she responds. Or Ryan, who also commented tonight.
Ryan
If you're
did
still
comment tonight, didn't he?
Yeah, Ryan, if you'd like a copy of Ghostbusters Afterlife, whoever, you guys are both welcome to it. But yeah, we're going to start making this a weekly thing. But on that note, I do have to get going. You can find me on Instagram, bjacksman1982. The WADcast is also on Instagram. It's also on Facebook. This is a live feed on Facebook right now. Yeah, just facebook.com/the WADcast. Same with Instagram, but it's Instagram / the WADcast. There's also our website, Instagram.com. Instagram.com. Jesus Christ. TheWADcast.com. We have a new contributor coming up, Peter Keys. He's going to be one of our new contributors for, movie reviews and things of that nature. But on that note, I do have to get going. Josh, it's always good seeing you, buddy. I will give you a call in a little while here.
I've been charging my phone.
Oh, nice. I have not. So that's another issue. It's about to die. So I'm going to let you guys go. Everyone, you guys have a great week. Josh will be guiding you through with his final thoughts, much like Jerry Springer used to. A little bit more classy, though, kind of like Maury Povich, Jerry Springer, Phil Donahue kind of status. But you guys have a great night. Have a great weekend. And don't be dicks. That's my final thought. All right, Josh, I'll catch up with you in a little bit, bud.
All right, bye. Well, you know what that means, kids. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. By the sound of the terrible music, it's time for the final thoughts. I guess I've been forgetting to put up all the proper banners during the show. If you're not watching live, to see the looks on our faces as we have these conversations and the cool little banners that I throw up every now and then, that's cool. I mean, you can catch it on Facebook, you can catch it on YouTube, you can even catch it on Twitch, wherever video is. That's pretty much where we are. Could have some pretty big announcements coming down the line in the future. Just keep an eye out on Twitter @SkidComic or the Wadco Media Facebook page. Go ahead and give that a like, because there will be some new show announcements coming soon, as well as a possible oops, I said too much. Now, normally I would say right about now, the only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. But I think tonight I'm going to do things a little bit differently. The only thing standing between you and your reality is you. But make sure that you don't try to stand between somebody else and their reality. Because even though we all live on the same rock, and even though we all breathe the same air and soak in the same sun, we are all going on our own journeys. I'm not trying to do any kind of mysticism BS. No, it's just, while we are all in this together, we are still all very much separate. And just because your path intersects with someone else's doesn't mean you have any authority over where their path goes. So if your personal journey wants to include being creative, make sure you follow it. Don't crush somebody else's dreams. Lift your own. And then maybe, just maybe, this whole crazy world could end up being just a little bit of a better place. This has been the WADcast number 87. I'm Josh, and for Brandon, I'm going to say good night, everybody. It's been quite the interesting ride. Next week, we'll be back with episode number 88, which I'm going to call right now and say should be about Back to the Future in some way, shape, or form. After all, when this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit.